and I went to the school to take my exam. On the way into the building, I met Carol. It's the first person I'd seen since I made this prayer. And she was already in her office. And she called me. She saw me coming in, and she said, "Come here, come here." And I'm like, "No, I'm late for my test." She said, "Come here." And when I went to her, she said, "I want you to meet this person. They taught me everything I know about Islam." The imam of the masjid had come to the school that morning after Fajr. And, you know, whenever she said, "They taught me everything," I knew that was my answer, that God had sent him there immediately for me. And I told him, "I want to take my shahada. I want to take my shahada." He said, "Make the words now. Say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, right now, because God only knows if you have life whenever you walk away from here." So I said my shahada, and I had the most unbelievable experience. I don't know if you've ever been chilled, like you're cold, and you get into some warm water, and you feel like a warming feeling it came all over my body. And it was like my blood stopped circulating. It's like it had been rushing. There was this energy in my body my whole life. At that second, I knew what my purpose in life was. I felt the peace for the first time. I felt actual, some kind of focus. And I knew that was Islam, and Islam was my way. And so, subhanAllah, that's how I took my shahada.
قررت سناء أن تفتح قلبها للإيمان فأسلمت، ومن ثم استسلمت لأوامر الله تعالى.
After becoming Muslim, I still had the Western mentality of, oh, well, I can be Muslim, but I don't have to really dress as a Muslim, And about 3 months after this time was a time that I really devoted to learning about Islam and learning what was required of me and how actions were important. And my family was coming for my graduation at the university. And I knew that if they saw me without a scarf and without practicing Islam, that they would never accept me being a Muslim. They'd never accept me putting on a scarf later. So what I did is I came out for my graduation with my scarf on. It was the first time anyone at school saw me. And alhamdulillah, my family saw it. They were really shocked. And they helped me move back to Louisiana, where my family lives. Most of my family lives there. And it was a difficult transition period for them. It was, imagine me going home. I'm wearing a scarf now. It's embarrassing to for the neighbors to see me. For them, they were very shy about it. But alhamdulillah, I asked my mother whenever she told me, "Please take the scarf off. It's an embarrassment." I said, "Either you accept me with my scarf, or I go away. Don't make me choose between my God and my family, because Islam tells me to serve you and to be the best to you. And that's, it's my obligation as a Muslim." Alhamdulillah, I was hired for a job in California 2 weeks later. And so I transferred to California. Actually, there in California, in San Francisco, mashallah, there was a beautiful Muslim community. There were so many people from everywhere, from every country, a lot of American converts to Islam. And subhanAllah, there I was able to find some good Muslim sisters who helped me learn some Arabic and learn some Quran, memorize some surahs of Quran. And about a year and a half later, I was introduced to my husband and was married. And now I have 5 beautiful children.
بدأت ضيفتنا خطوتها الأولى، وما كان إلا بتوفيق من الله تعالى أن يسر لها دربها.
I think probably the most precious thing that's happened to me, my mother took her Shahada last year. And I traveled back to the U.S. and spent 6 months with her. And alhamdulillah, Allah has really blessed her. That I used to make dua. When I first became Muslim, every time I bent my knees, I would say, oh Allah, just let her take Shahada. I think she's the best woman. I see how she sacrificed for each one of her children and devoted herself. I really think that she deserves Shahada, you know? And through all of these years, every time when she would come to visit or I would go to visit her, I always felt sad that she just didn't accept Islam. And subhanAllah, I saw the mercy when we went back last year. 2 years ago, she was diagnosed with lymphoma type B, and it's a rare form of cancer. And they tried to initiate chemotherapy, and I really wasn't happy about it, and I prayed about it a lot, and there was an abscess in her port, so they couldn't start the chemotherapy. So they did another port, and then she had a heart attack. And so subhanAllah, they weren't able to do the chemotherapy for her, which was a blessing, because she was able to be stronger and spend more time with us and learning about Islam. And alhamdulillah, she did take her Shahada and accepted Islam. I also have one brother, my youngest brother, who accepted Islam about 15 years ago. And mashallah, in our area, like I said, 25 years ago, there were no Muslims. Absolutely none. There were just... And I went back this last year and was able to spend some time. And I live in a small college. There's a university. And mashallah, they had built a masjid. And mashallah, it was full of American Muslims. I mean, there were other nationalities and stuff there. But subhanAllah, it was full of American, more American than any other thing. And we were so happy to see that growth of Islam in America. And even subhanAllah, we were there for Ramadan. And my first Ramadan, I look back and not, you know, just becoming Muslim and looking back on the practices, the new prayer in the evening time. And alhamdulillah, I had the community around me. It was in San Francisco. And subhanAllah, we know in the medical side of fasting, subhanAllah, a person who's not, there's a nice book on nutritional healing, and there's a whole section on fasting. And it talks about the benefits of fasting. It says if you're ill with like a virus or something, fast 3 days. And what's the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Fast 13th, 14th, and 15th of each month. This is if you have a small virus. If you have something that's a little bit, you know, more harsh on your body, then you fast for 10 days. And if you have a serious life-threatening illness, you fast for 1 month. SubhanAllah, this is what this book says, who's written by a non-Muslim. So subhanAllah, we see the benefits of fasting, and even that first Ramadan was it was difficult, because in the American concept of giving up food for a full day from sunrise to sunset was very difficult. No water, no food. But alhamdulillah, you feel after 3 days or 4 days how your body needed that rest, and subhanAllah, how you benefited from it. And also spiritually, how you gain from the month of Ramadan, subhanAllah.
سناء ككل المسلمين أحبت الخير لكل أحبائها كما أحبته لنفسها.
We had talked, you know, it's like I tell you, we bent our knees, and not only me, my children also prayed for their grandmother, that, you know, and my mother's been in the hospital for about 2 years, where she wasn't released, where she's been kept in the hospital. And we called her one evening. It was her birthday. And even though we don't celebrate birthdays, it was her birthday, and she celebrates, and she's lets everyone know. And I said, Mother, what would you like?